The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv.
Welcome to episode 99 of Gun Guy Radio. This is the podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Chick Challand, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. Brownells helps make this episode of Gun Guy Radio possible. Selection, service, satisfaction. Find it all at Brownells. GunGuyRadio.com/satisfaction. Well, I have a few announcements before we get into the awesome main topic interview this week where we get to talk with Gunny. That's right, Ermey joins the main topic discussion this week to talk about his new book called Gunny's Rules, How to Get Squared Away Like a Marine. So announcements, Duluth Trading Company, $100 gift card. This is the last week. I'm announcing the final two winners. Thank you for everyone who have left an iTunes review or who have bought the Firearms Radio Network's Android app and sent me the receipt. Thank you so much for doing that to enter. And so this week, we're giving away $200 gift cards to Duluth Trading Company, where you can get some of your own fire hose work jeans or some of the ballroom jeans or some of the free swinging flannel. So the first winner is Rocky Zeus, iTunes reviewer name Rocky Zeus. And second winner is IP1T-Bowl. IP1T-Bowl. So hey guys, shoot me an email, jake@firearmsradio.tv, and I'll get these $100 gift cards sent off to you. And I still need to hear from SDE Young from last week, because I still have his card here. So shoot me an email, jake@firearmsradio.tv, and thank you for entering. And don't forget, this episode we also announced the winner of the big Brownells giveaway for the month of December, where we're giving away the Midwest Industries Gen 2 rail and the Brownells AR-15 Armorer's Critical Tools Kit. So stay tuned after the main topic. We'll announce the winner for those, and then I'll hint about the giveaway for January. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get over to the main interview here with Gunny. Line, we have a gentleman who is best known for his outstanding performance in the movie Full Metal Jacket, and more recently, even movies like Toy Story, where he played the voice-over work for Sarge, and of course, most recently, the History Channel's Mail Call and Lock and Load TV shows. And on the line with us, calling from his war room in sunny California, is America's drill instructor, Ermey, also better known as Gunny.
Hey, Jake, I'm hanging in there. Everything's beautiful, and you're right. It was a beautiful day today in sunny Southern California. The wife complained about it last week. She said I was in New York and I was in Chicago, so I wasn't here, but she complained. She said that the weather, the temperatures got cleared down like in the 60s. Oh, they had to break out their long underwear and everything. So, yeah, terrible.
Yeah, we have a few guys here at the Firearms Radio Network that hail from California, and I don't even talk weather with them.
Yeah, you'll lose. You know that, Jake. You can't talk weather with people from California. See, I grew up in Kansas, the great state of Kansas, the Jayhawk state. Well, the weather there, I mean, it's pretty standard. The ground freezes in November. It thaws out again in about April or May. And the rest of the time it's chiggers and sweltering hot.
That's something I wanted to ask you a few questions about. This is Gun Guy Radio, so I wanted to talk to you about, some of your first guns that you got to shoot and maybe what your first gun was.
Well, I had a Daisy air rifle, of course. Don't know too many farm boys that didn't go through the Daisy air rifle stage. Second gun, the next one was a pump pellet rifle. And from there, it's just been skyrocketing upwards. I have more than 100 guns now. I am not real big on the black guns. I don't. I'm a real stickler about having wood on my guns instead of plastic, and I love really good, nice, beautiful wood. But I've got every kind of gun you can imagine. I've got a gun for every a tool for every job that I need. I go to Africa. I've been to Africa 4 times in the past 5 years hunting, and I can tell you some really hair-raising stories about PETA. Why bother? Nobody likes them anyway.
Yeah, especially if you're listening to this program. So. yeah,
especially, yes, absolutely. But anyway, so I own probably, let's say 120 guns. I own most of the Glocks. I think I've got, like 15 Glocks right now.
Wow, holy cow.
And I love my Glocks, and we know it's a great gun because if it wasn't a great gun, well, about 70% of law enforcement in America wouldn't carry them. And let's face it, before the chief of police puts in his order to buy a bunch of Glocks, he drops them out of airplanes, he freezes them, he soaks them in formaldehyde, he runs over them with tanks. The testing phase on these guns is crucial and excruciating, for Pete's sake. So any gun that can pass the police test has got to be a heck of a gun.
Absolutely. We're just curious about some of your first guns because you're actually here to talk about your new book, Gunny's Rules for How to Get Squared Away Like a Marine.
Did I mention guns in the book?
Oh, yeah. You did, of course. You talked about many guns, actually, but I was curious when how old were you when you fired your first shot, do you think?
I was hunting on my own when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
But you have to understand, kids back in those days were more mature. When I was 8 years old, I had the responsibility of chores on the farm, and I had the responsibility of looking after my younger brothers. I had the responsibility of my chores were, one of my chores were breaking the ice on the pond so that the cows could drink in the wintertime. And, you grew up with chores, you grew up with responsibilities, and with responsibilities comes maturity. And I was, at the age of 8, 9 years old back in those days, you were as mature as a 13-year-old is today.
That reminds me, in the book you did talk about how you, hunted your way to school and back?
I would hunt my way over to the bus stop. I would stash my gun and my game in a culvert under the road. I would get on the bus. I would go to school. I would study. I would then come home. I would get off the bus. I would fetch my gun, and I would hunt my way home. But there were 6 boys in my family. So you can rest assured that we never slaughtered a calf, one of our own cattle, for beef, because we always had deer. We always had venison. We had pig. There were plenty of wild pigs in Kansas. And we never butchered any of our chickens. We raised them and sold them for meat, but we didn't butcher them for ourselves because we had pheasant, we had quail, we had dove in season. We had two chest freezers, and they were always kept full of fish and wild game. So my mother really didn't have to shop for meat in any way, shape, or form when she went to the market.
Well, that's awesome. You were quite the prepper before prepping was cool.
I remember back in the day, farm boys carried knives in our pockets of our jeans. We carried them in school. Nobody ever said anything. The one thing that bothers me nowadays, we seem to be neutering our young boys, and you can't turn the TV on without seeing a story about some kid who's committed suicide because he was bullied. Back in my time, if some bully came up to me on the schoolyard and thought he was going to push me around, I would certainly try to diplomatically talk my way out of it at first. If the individual wasn't open for reasoning, I would certainly punch his lights out, and he would pick himself back up off the deck, and he would never ever even think about bullying me ever again. Nowadays, if the kid being bullied raises a hand to the bully, right away it's the kid's fault. They want to kick him out of school.
Right. Even if it's self-defense.
Even if it's self-defense, and that's exactly what it is. When somebody is bullying you, you have the right to defend yourself. And we don't teach our kids that anymore. We teach our kids to turn the other cheek. And, you can turn the other cheek to a certain extent, and I have turned the other cheek. However, how many doggone cheeks do you have, So one of these times you're going to have to learn to stand up for yourself and protect yourself. And that's one thing I always talk about, I like to talk about is the individual in California that doesn't even know the gun, doesn't have a gun in his house. And here we have home invasions out here, and the gang problems are second to none. And you can call 911 and Shakey's Pizza at the same time, and you're going to be eating pizza by the time the black and white shows up in front of your house. So it's necessary that you protect yourself and learn to protect yourself and your family from evildoers. And that's why I believe everybody in America should own a gun.
Well, in the book and other places, you've talked about how you favor a Glock for personal and home protection. Now, do you have any long guns for that purpose as well?
I do indeed. I have all kinds of long guns. They're basically for hunting. Most of my long guns are for hunting. I don't want to, if somebody's in my house, I wouldn't shoot them with a 30-06, so to speak, because that's a little overkill, I think, But I basically think that the home protection should be dealt with the handgun. You're in tight quarters. Your handgun is maneuverable, and that would be the way that I would prefer to do it. But I'm pretty proficient with a handgun because I shoot on the Glock shooting team. So it's a matter of preference, I would guess. I think Al Gore mentioned a few years back that the shotgun would do.
Joe Biden, right?
Okay, Joe. We was talking about a 12-gauge shotgun. Well, my God, that'd be so messy, you just about cut a person in half at close range with a 12-gauge shotgun. So I think I would be a bit tidier and a little neater about the thing and just maybe have a 9mm. That's all I'd need. I travel a lot. Mrs. Gunny has her little 9mm. She takes it out of the last thing she does every night is take that little 9mm out of the safe and put it on her nightstand. And the first thing she does every morning is take it off the nightstand and put it back in her safe. So she also has two pretty vicious dogs that sleep right inside the bedroom door to protect her. So she's a well-protected lady.
Well, I like to hear that she has easy access to the firearm because it doesn't do you a lot of good to have it locked away and unloaded.
Oh, no. I'd probably have my house here is probably 20 rooms. I'll bet there's 7 or 8 guns strung out around the house. Easy access. I can get to them in no time.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
There's all kinds of cool things. Hiding spaces where you can hide guns nowadays. They've got furniture that they build furniture with little cubbies in it where you can stash your handgun. It's some neat furniture.
Yeah, there's some really neat wall hangings you can get. I've been looking at online.
Sure thing. Shadow boxes looking things.
Back to rifles. You actually shoot on a rifle team as well. Is that right?
I have a team. I've got Dennis DeMille as one of my team members. He's a two times national champion, long gun, and high power. And I've got let's see, I've got a world champion, and I'm trying to think. Donnie Trump. Do you know who he is?
Not off the top of my head. No.
You've probably heard of Donald Trump.
Yep.
Well, Donnie is Donald's son.
Oh, you're serious? Wow.
Now, could you imagine Donald Trump's son out there laying on his belly in the dirt, shooting a high-powered rifle and being extremely good at it?
That's awesome.
He does, and he's a good shot, and he's a good sport, and he wears faded jeans and cowboy boots, so he's a good guy.
Well, very cool. So you shoot that at Camp Perry every year?
Yeah, we go to Camp Perry every year, and I do several other matches as well. I do Coalinga here in the state of California. I do. We have the Creedmoor Cup East and the Creedmoor Cup West, which on the East Coast it's in North Carolina, and the Creedmoor West is in Phoenix, Arizona. And we all get together, and you know who the CMP is, right? Civilian Marksmanship.
Correct. Yeah, that's where you can get like old M1 Grands from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they and Creedmoor Sports sponsors the Creedmoor Cup, and it's really a great match. So I get to shoot high-powered rifle, and I get to compete with pistol as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, in the book, you talked a little bit about back to your dislike of the black rifles, where you had a custom black rifle built for one of these matches, and you ended up, selling it there?
Well, I gave it a fair chance. I gave it a fair shake, and at the end of the third match, I announced on the before I walked off the 600-yard line after shooting, I announced that rifle was for sale. I sold it for exactly what I paid for it, and I sold it in about 2 minutes. I sold it before I could get off of the firing line. So obviously, I'm not the one I'm singled out when it comes to disliking the black gun because everybody else loves the damn thing. Now I have had one made. Carl Banofsky, he is a world champion. Several times, and he is on my team as well. And he shoots a semi-automatic black gun, but it's total match. It's total match gun, and it looks like they call it the space gun. So that'll give you an idea what it looks like. But many moving parts, and so I've just had one made. And I had it built. We completed the build about 2 months ago, and I really haven't had a chance to get out and give it a fair shake. So we'll see how this one pays off, and if it works out, well, so be it. Maybe I will like black guns a little bit, but I'm just a traditionalist. You know, I shoot in the vintage military high-powered rifle group, the vintage military being the 03, the 1917, the M1 Garand, the M14, the M1A1. Those are the ones that I compete with.
Oh, that's really cool. Wow. Yeah, I shot a 3-gun event a while back with an M1 carbine, so I was going a little vintage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 3 guns are fun. They're neat. We've come up with just in the past 5 or 6 years. It's been, everybody has that old sniper rifle way back in the safe, collecting cobwebs, and nobody knows what to do with it. But they can't just throw it away, and they can't sell it, and they can't bring themselves to part with it because It's just a classic old sniper rifle from maybe World War I or World War II. But we came up with a solution for that, and people now are breaking those old long guns out. Those old sniper rifles are coming out, and we have a vintage sniper match now that we shoot.
Oh, that's awesome. Man, that sounds like a blast.
And we've got it. It's sanctioned by CMP and the NRA. And so we have our little vintage sniper rifle match at Camp Perry every year now, and we have the same match goes on at the Creedmoor Cups, each of the Creedmoor Cups, East and West, and they're just it's a team sport. So you team up with one of your buddies, and one of you looks through the scope and calls the shots as you shoot them, and then when you shoot. Like 20 rounds from the 300-yard line. Then you move back to the 600-yard line, and you shoot 20 more rounds, 10 apiece. And it's a real hoot. It's a lot of fun. And I always profess, every time I do an interview, I always make it a point to let everybody in America know that the safest place in America is on the firing line. And there is no safer place. I'd rather be on the firing line at a rifle range any day during a competition than out on the freeway.
Yeah, you got that right. What would you say your best day at the gun range would be? What guns would you take for your ideal, just fun day at the range?
Yeah, I like, if I want to just go play, I'll take the 22. You can, 22s are just as accurate as any of them. You won't shoot as far, of course. You'll shoot maybe 100 yards, maybe 200 yards with a 22. But you can play with the 22 all day long and not become financially distraught, not bankrupt yourself. Because 22 ammunition, as well as I do, for 50 rounds, you can, what's that? $10, $8 for 50 rounds. But I love shooting the 22. I have 22 pistols as well that I shoot at the range. And why should anybody go blow away 9mm ammunition or 10mm or 45 caliber? Why should you waste that really expensive ammo when you can get the same effects with a 22 long rifle?
Sure, yeah. I talk about how the 22 is a perfect range gun or beginner gun or trainer gun. There's just so many great options for it.
Yeah, I went up from a air rifle, BB gun, Daisy air rifle, up to a pellet rifle. And I graduated from pellet rifle. I went to a 22 long rifle, and then I went to the 410. And I was in Kansas, so I'm squirrel hunting, and if you can pop a red squirrel out of the tree at 50 yards with a 22 rifle, you're a pretty good shot, buddy.
Let's move on to your Marine Corps days, where you got started off with a Browning automatic rifle. Is that right? A BAR?
Well, I was elected to be the barman, B-A-R-man. But that was the last few years of the existence of the BAR in the military service, and they were really junk, no question about it. They were 25, 30 pounds fully loaded, and the darn thing, you would get usually 3 or 4 rounds off before it jammed. They were total junk back in the day because
they were still around from World War II, or?
That's right. They were left over from World War I and World War II. They were junk.
Wow.
You could shake them and they would rattle. I remember distinctly one of the things that you remember if you were a BA man back in that time, in that era, was the immediate action, which would be pull, push, tap, aim, and attempt to fire. So you would pull the operating rod handle to the rear, push the operating handle forward. You would tap on the bottom of the magazine, smack it a couple of times to give that magazine a couple of whacks, aim and attempt to fire again. and it still wouldn't fire generally. But that was the immediate action with the BAR. Then we went, we threw that old gun away, and that's when we became very friendly with the M60 machine gun. And it's still being used today. It's still a fine rifle.
Now, were any BARs fielded in Vietnam, or were they just used for training?
No, by 64 and 65, we weren't using the BAR anymore. We had traded in our M1 Garands for M14. And we had traded the BAR in for the M60 machine gun by that stage. So as far as I know, no BARs or M1 Garands were fielded in Vietnam at all. I did have an M1 carbine, but it was a captured weapon that I liked it. I carried it.
Really? Oh, very cool. Let's go off the gun topic a little bit and talk a little bit about, the other vast, wealth of knowledge that you share in this book. You cover quite the spectrum from entrepreneurship to leadership. So I wanted to touch on entrepreneurship a little bit, how you became an entrepreneur after the Marines retired you. You had planned on being in the Marine Corps for life, but due to a shoulder injury, they medically retired you. And
yes, I had a rocket hit the bunker. The bunker came down on my shoulder, and the old shoulder never did work right after that. So during 1972, 73. The Marine Corps was downsizing at that stage of the game, and if you had any medical problems whatsoever, you were down the road. And I just happened to have had that medical problem, and they retired me. So not too bad. It worked out okay. It worked out to my benefit, actually, because it forced me to do other things like stand-up comedian, like acting, like technical advice in Vietnam War shows. So I was always on the go. I was always at a job. I always had a paycheck, and that's another one thing that I talk about in the book. If you don't have a paycheck and you're on welfare and you're an able-bodied person, you're a dirtbag as far as I'm concerned. Because you're stealing money out of the mouths of the crippled people that program was designed to help in the first place.
Yeah.
And if you're an able-bodied personnel, shame on you if you're on welfare, and shame on you if you're drawing food stamps. I could be unemployed today, guaranteed I'd have a job by the end of next week.
You kind of saw that you had to become your own boss to really get to where you envision yourself being.
Well, I just had to be very aggressive. I mean, I knew where I wanted to go, and there was nobody working for somebody else couldn't get me where I needed to go. So I struck out on my own. I was always single. When I was in the Marine Corps, I remained single. So I was footloose, fancy free. I was in my early 30s, and I was looking for excitement, and I jumped back on a space A at George Air Force Base in California, and I went back to the Philippines and Okinawa. So I was looking for adventure, and I found out that they were going to start shooting Vietnam War shows in the Philippines. So that's where I basically ended up. The thing is, I couldn't. There's no way I could do that if I had to hold down a regular job. The beautiful thing about being retired out of the Marine Corps is I had that humble little retirement check. It was only $250 a month. But, hell, I felt that I could eat out of a Dipsy dumpster. As long as I didn't have a family to take care of, I could get by.
You really went after it. You went overseas. Your first 4 films were filmed overseas, is that right?
First 4 were filmed in the Philippines, and I came back, and the next film was Full Metal Jacket. So Full Metal Jacket was film number 5.
And and you share a lot of interesting tidbits about Full Metal Jacket. I won't spoil anything here, but if you
that's the film, Jake, that everybody seems to be interested in. Everybody loved Stanley Kubrick was the director, and everybody respected his work, and so everybody wanted to know about Full Metal Jacket. I spent half my life answering questions about Full Metal Jacket, so I thought, well, as long as I'm writing this book, I might as well clear up everything that I know about Full Metal Jacket and how I got into Full Metal Jacket, how it all came about, the whole ball of wax, And so basically that's what I did. I used the book to clear up all these questions. Now I don't have to answer all these questions anymore.
Well, I had heard the rumor that that when you auditioned for Full Metal Jacket, or when you went to Kubrick and said that you should be the guy playing the drill sergeant, that he had you go through your drill instructor routine while throwing tennis balls at you.
Well, see, that's something that I worked out with my dialogue coach. You got to have somebody to throw dialogue back and forth with. And my dialogue coach got upset with me one day. We were in soundstage, and I was doing dialogue, and I kept screwing it up, and we'd have to start over again. And Leon Vitale was my dialogue coach, and he got a little upset with me when there was a bowl of fruit sitting next to him. He took a banana and he gave it a swing over my way, and I caught the banana and I threw it back to him, and I commenced to doing dialogue. And I found out that is the best way to learn dialogue in the world, is playing catch with fruit. And that's the way we worked every day when I go into the ADR and the sound stages to work on dialogue with my coach. He and I would throw fruit back and forth at one another. But it takes your mind off of the words, so that the words just come automatically after a while.
Sure. I guess that was one of your secrets to success, is that you knew your lines. You had your lines down pat. Never have I embarrassed myself by not knowing my words. When the director says action, I figure that's why that actor makes big bucks. And he better open his mouth and those right words come out, because that's why he makes the big money. Now, you also talk about in the book about being a lifelong learner and about pretty much having a positive, healthy mental attitude.
Well, it's called motivation, and without motivation, none of us go very far. Matter of fact, that's the problem with people. These able-bodied people that are sucking up and sponging off the government right now and being on welfare is they're not motivated people. And they found out that, why should I work when I can sit back here? And do you realize there are people now in the United States that are drawing upwards of $35,000 a year on welfare?
Jeez.
I mean, so where, I ask you, is the incentive for that individual to go find a job?
Yeah,
you see,
exactly.
There's no incentive. So, but that's the problem with this country today, and I've watched it go downhill since I'm pushing 70. I'll be 70 in a few more months, and I've watched this country go downhill steadily for about the last 40, 50 years. And it's starting to get really ugly, and that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. Number one, about a third of America is obese, and I mean morbidly obese in a lot of cases. I watched a show the other day where they had to knock a doggone wall out of a guy's house, out of his bedroom, so that they could get him out of his bed and get him to the hospital. This guy was so enormous, so fat, that he had to have a crane pull him out of his bed, for Pete's sakes. Man, that's a lack of discipline if I ever saw one. And the Marine Corps teaches you discipline. And the Marine Corps also instills pride. So without those two ingredients, people are satisfied to be on welfare and sponge off of other people. And I don't have a problem helping people out. I mean, if my neighbor came to me and said he was having trouble paying his mortgage and he couldn't feed his family this month, I would give him the money to take care of that situation. I would be very upset if he came back to me next month, because I don't have a problem helping a person, but I'll be darned if I'm going to support him. And that's what's happened with this welfare thing that we have on now. And now look at it. We're talking now. They're talking about 3 years of unemployment. Wow. Why go to work?
Right.
Let's just sit back and get fat, dumb, and happy, smoke our dope, and gobble down free food from food stamps, and let the government pay us. And it's terrible. That is ugly.
Yeah, I mean, it just leads to living, you lose sight of your dreams, you just quit trying, you end up living a life of resignation.
Exactly. It's like you get mired down in quicksand. Once you get involved in those programs, and you just get stuck in these programs. And the thing is, you worry if I get off, I might have trouble getting back on, or I might not get on with as much prestige, or I might lose some money if I get back on. I hired a girl, she was my assistant here a while back, and I paid her minimum wage. And she was doing quite nicely. And one day she came in, she worked for me for about a month. She came back in and she said, Mr. Ermey, I have to quit. I can't make it because the government took my child care away from me, and now I have to pay for a babysitter for my daughter. Okay, so she's working and she's making less than people on welfare. But the government should help her, because she at least is showing some sign of having some ability and wanting to work. See what I'm saying? Right. Instead of taking them completely off of their subsistence or their welfare, they should kind of gradually wean them off of the welfare program. And I think it would work that way.
Well, let's change gears here and talk a little bit about all the trade show work you do, because you represent several companies and you do a lot of trade shows. I've seen you the long line of fans waiting at like the NRA show and such for just a chance to meet you and get an autograph. So what's that like?
Yeah, I do a lot of those shows. Well, I represent product. I use the product. Number one, I'm a spokesperson for Glock. I've been their spokesperson for well over 10 years. Bunch of great guys. It's the best handgun on the market as far as I'm concerned. If it wasn't, I would not be the spokesperson for them. And I was approached by 3 or 4 different gun companies before I went with Glock. And I took a little bit less money to go with Glock. And the main reason is it's the best one out there. I mean, I don't want to have to lie about a product, and I refuse to lie about a product. If I can't honestly say this is the best darn product on the market, and I use it myself, well, then I'm not going to promote that product, plain and simple. I ride Victory motorcycles, so Victory got wind of that. They came to me and asked me if I would be their spokesman. Well, if I ride Victory, obviously I think that was the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
Saab Knives. I'm the spokesperson for Saab Knives. And that's another one. It's just a great product. And when I find a good product, I want to tell my friends, hey, go buy this product. You won't believe it. It's a great product, you know? And then True Spec Clothing is the same deal. So I've got 4 companies that I work with, and I work with them constantly. I do the shows with them. We get out there and we show the product, and I shake hands, kiss babies, and take pictures. And it's fun for me. I enjoy it. It keeps me busy, and I'm not doing many movies anymore. They found out I was a conservative in Hollywood, and that killed me right there, which is a shame. But I've been invited to do a few movies, but in the past couple of years. But the problem is they're not up to the standards that I'd like to do movies. So I do have a show coming out, though. I'll be the spokesperson or the host of the show. We're highlighting working dogs, and this will be coming out in the spring.
Oh, really? So working dogs, like canines?
Yeah, canines like dope dogs and drug dogs and, police dogs and war dogs and you name it. And seeing eye dogs and dogs. The dog's been doing a lot for human beings for years now. And it's about time they had their show, don't you think?
Yeah. No, it sounds like a blast.
Absolutely. And I'm a big dog lover.
Now, at these trade shows, what's like your number one or two requests? I mean, do you have a lot of people come up and ask you, to call them names and stuff like you?
Well, I've had guys come up and ask me if I'd choke their wife. I immediately point out that is their business. That's not mine. Just the other day, as a matter of fact, I was signing autographs at a gun shop, and this guy came in with his wife, and he came up to me and whispered in my ear and said, "Would you choke my wife?" Yeah, I think that's your job, buddy. But I play around with him. We just play and we have fun. I joke around. Hell, I was a stand-up comedian for a couple of years, so I'm pretty sharp-witted. I can dance, pretty much dance the dance. But it's fun. I have a great time. I meet a lot of really nice people. I mean, these are the people that they don't come up to wait in line to give me a hard time. They come up because they appreciate what I do and they like me. So, and I've been around for so many years. Let's face it, I've been around in film now for about 40 years, and people come up to me. It's almost like they know me, because they've watched me so much on TV and heard me on radio and watched my movies. But it's fun. I like it.
Well, yeah, I can tell you really seem to be into it, and you, man, you're out there for hours and hours. I think in the book, you're in the introduction, it talked about you being on your feet for 12 hours sometimes at those shows.
Yeah, I did. That's my personal best. I did 12 hours without a meal break, without a bathroom break, shaking hands, kissing babies, and taking pictures. But it was fun. I was trying to set my record. Every time I do this, I test myself again. I won't walk away if there's still a line there. If somebody's been waiting in line to see me, they get to see me. I will not walk away just because I was supposed to be there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's 1:30. I'm not going to walk away until everybody's taken care of. But I kind of challenge myself in a lot of cases. And the thing is, I could imagine if I'm just standing there and it's boring and I'm not enjoying it, but it would be horrible, I think, 12 hours.
Sure.
But I joke around and we play and we laugh and we have fun. And 12 hours, I'll tell you, this goes by bang and it's gone.
Well, it's great to see your love of people and fans, and I guess you're planning on semi-retiring in a few years when you're 92?
Yeah, I'm going to semi-retire. I told Mrs. Gunny that I'm going to semi-retire when I'm 92. I'm going to cut it down to 5 days a week, and so it gives her a little light at the end of the tunnel.
Sure.
Absolutely. We all have to have goals. We got to set goals. We got to have something to look forward to in life, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So that'll be a nice change for me when I'm 92 to semi-retire. I just get to go fishing and hunting more. That's all.
Well, you give a lot of great advice in this book, covering a wide spectrum of knowledge and ideas. And so our average listener on this program is anywhere, 35, 45, they're probably married, maybe have some young kids. What advice would you leave with this person?
Well, if you're not happy with life, that's the thing. If you're happy with life, well, I'm not going to try to change a thing. I wouldn't recommend anything. I would recommend if you're a happy guy, your wife is in love with you and you're in love with her, and you have a couple of kids that you just adore, and life is really good and you're enjoying life, just keep doing what you're doing, But if you're not, which there are many people out there in this world that it's the hardest thing in the world for them to do is to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you see those long faces in the windshields of the cars. I'm driving to a job that I truly love, that I dearly love, and I'm having a great time. And I'm sitting there sipping my coffee, and I'm watching these people, the faces of other people in the behind the windshields of their car, and they do not look like they're happy. They are going to a job that they don't like. The only reason they're going to that job is because they need to have that paycheck Friday, and that's a hard way to live. I mean, you're not enjoying life. Find something that you want to do and do it, but take some chances. Like I said earlier in the show, if I was unemployed today, by the end, I guarantee by the end of the week I would have a job. Now, it might not be the best job in the world. I might not be the bank president. However, I would have a paycheck coming in. Every Friday I would have that paycheck, and my family would be fed. There would be a roof over their heads, and my family would still respect me. But I would continue to look for a job. I did this for years. I bet I've had 75, maybe 100 jobs in my life. And I would get to take the first job that was offered to me at the wage that was offered to me. If I wasn't happy with that, I would continue to look at the help wanteds. Every Friday, boy, I was in that newspaper big time, looking to have job interviews, calling up people, talking about I've seen your ad in the newspaper. I'd like to talk to you about this job. And I would find that the next job, I would turn in my 2 weeks' notice to the last outfit. I would first of all give them a chance to raise the wages up if that's what the problem was, or cut back the hours, or change my job position or something. But in a lot of cases, it didn't happen. And then I would turn in my 2 week notice, and off I would go. After 2 weeks, I'd go get that other job, and I would continue to look for the next job. But make yourself happy. That's the most important thing in life. Love your wife. Your wife should be your best friend. Mine is we still have dates, for Pete's sakes.
That's
We've
awesome.
We've been together for 35 years, 37 years.
That's awesome.
So that's about it, I would say.
Well,
but find something that you like to do and do it, and make it work for you.
All right. Well, you guys heard the Gunny. Get out there and do it. Don't let fear have a vote.
Yeah, first thing they need to do is go to Amazon and buy Gunny's Rules, and that'll get them started.
Absolutely. Gunny's Rules, how to get squared away like a Marine. I have a direct link in the show notes for you guys. And Gunny, is there any chance of getting a audio version of the book made? We're kind of throwing it back and forth. We're tossing it around. We'll see what happens. If we do decide to do that, you'll be the first to know. Well, great. Well, there's actually a little link on the Amazon page that says, tell us if you'd like this title to be produced as an audiobook, and
right.
they'll let the colleagues at audible.com know. So if anyone wants that produced as an audiobook, I suggest clicking that link, and we'll keep our fingers crossed, because I'm certainly an audio book listener.
I think that's just kind of a little survey they do, and it's if there's enough people that say, yes, we'd like to have it, then it would be worthwhile, so we'd
Sure.
do it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gunny, we have several Marines here on the Firearms Radio Network, and they wanted me to extend their thanks to you for your service and the great example you provide for the Corps.
Well, you know what? A big old Semper Fi, big, warm, sloppy Semper Fi right on back to those boys. Love them. And remember to salute the flag and above all, support our veterans. Do you guys ever go to the SHOT Show?
Yeah, we will be at SHOT Show in force this year.
Oh, well, that's great. So, I go to the SHOT Show. I've been to the SHOT Show every year I haven't missed for 11 years. We'll put it that way.
Wow.
So maybe I'll see you guys down there.
Absolutely. Gunny, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on Gun Guy Radio. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Semper Fi. Y'all have a great evening. Bye now. Thanks for sharing your airwaves with me.
Ballroom jeans, fire hose work pants, and long-tail tees are 3 favorites among the men of Gun Guy Radio. Duluth Trading Company has perfected the art of clothing the manly man. If you want manly comfort that's trusted by these gun guys, go to gunguyradio.com/Duluth and check out the other manly essentials Duluth Trading Company offers gun guys like us.
Well, again, awesome time. It was such an honor to talk with Gunny. He is, just a wealth of knowledge and such a gentleman. And he did not scream at me like I thought he might, like in the movie. But it was a lot of fun talking with him. And I can't thank Gunny enough for coming on the program. Big shout out to Gunny. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Gun Guy Radio Product Spotlight, and we have Brownell's product category manager Paul Levy with us.
Hey Jake, how's it going?
I never get that title right.
No, that's okay.
Let's
I'm not expecting it to happen.
Let's do something about it. Let's have it change so it's something easy.
There you go.
I'm pretty excited. We're talking about, for one, we're giving this away in the Gun Guy Radio giveaway. But also, we have been talking about this product over on the AR-15 podcast.
Oh, okay.
Reed recently built out an AR-15 with one of the Midwest Industries handguards. So
nice.
I'm glad you picked it. So
yeah, it's a pretty popular handguard at the moment. I'm not entirely surprised that he picked one up. But I actually own 2 myself. I'm personally a fan of it, and it. Based on our customers' reaction to it, most people are fans too. But for Midwest Industries, it's the SS Gen 2. They do have a Gen 1, which is a little larger diameter. But the great thing about this handguard, really the selling point, is it's lightweight and it's slim. It doesn't have extra quad rails all over the place. Nothing's really unnecessary on this handguard out of the box. I have the 12-inch model here attached on this is a 16-inch rifle here, so you can get an idea of how long that is once it's installed. And this is it looks like a mid-length gas system on this, I believe it is. So it does cover the gas block on a mid-length, a rifle length that would be out here if you were to go that route. But really lightweight. I managed to throw a bunch of stuff on this rifle, so it's no longer a lightweight rifle anyways. But the handguard itself is extremely light, yet rigid.
And low profile on the side.
Oh yeah, you can see here how close it is to the barrel, but it doesn't really have any issue getting around most low profile gas blocks. Most low profile gas blocks are that same contour now, and it fits just fine. I actually have a Midwest gas block on this one, and it fits on there no problem. The mounting method, it does ship with a new barrel nut, so you will have to install that. But as I smack the table. But it does come with the barrel nut, and then it comes with a proprietary barrel nut wrench. So you don't have to go out buy an extra barrel wrench. So you're good to go on that. It comes with all the Allen wrenches needed to install the handguard itself, and then any accessory rails. So really, you're not left scrambling to find that extra tool that you didn't know you had to have to install it. So Midwest really takes care of you there.
Just give me a month. I'll be looking for it after that.
There you go. But the barrel nut, of course, attaches at the rear here, and the handguard itself slips over it. And you can remove the handguard actually really whenever you want just by removing these two screws here. And it just clamps over the barrel nut like so. The newer versions, the barrel nut is knurled to give you a bit more surface area and to prevent any slipping going forward under recoil. So really pretty cool. And they are coming out with a 308 version relatively soon.
Nice.
This is, of course, the AR-15 version. Comes in quite a few different lengths, anywhere from carbine, mid-length. Really, what we find is the 12-inch and then the 15-inch even are the most popular. The guys, especially 3-gun guys, really want the longer rail space or handguard space so they can really get aggressive with their grip and really control the rifle or mount, get as long a sight radius as possible.
Yeah, there really are a lot of length options. It looks like 7, 9, 10, 12, and 15-inch.
Yep, and then it also comes in flat dark earth. We carry the flat dark earth version from Midwest, which is pretty nice. You can get some flat dark earth uppers and lowers from us as well, and you could get really a custom-looking rifle from 3 major parts.
And current pricing is anywhere from $139.95 up to $189.95, depending on the length.
Yeah, and it should be noted too that with that price, you get a few accessories that you don't normally get with handguards. It comes with these attachments. It comes with this Picatinny rail that has a QD socket in it, which you can mount anywhere. You can see there's threaded portions throughout the handguard. It'll mount anywhere on there. It comes with a bipod stud, so you just have to thread in the bipod stud in your set. You don't have to buy a bipod stud separate. And then it also comes with an extra set of a small Picatinny rail, so you can mount that somewhere else for a flashlight, a vertical grip if you want that on the lower portion, whatever. So
my zombie bayonet. Right?
There you go. So Midwest really does take care of you right out of the box with these handguards. They're well made, they're easy to install, and they look pretty good too.
Yeah, they are definitely a nice, sexy, even looking handguard. I mean, it's nicely done. I like the look of the barrel nut. I mean, that's even got a cool look to it.
Yeah, the barrel nut's it's pretty low profile. It doesn't go. You can see how wide that barrel nut is. It basically kind of looks like a reverse GI style barrel nut. Just the knurls and where the gas tube notch is just in the rear instead of the front. So you can see this is the rear portion of the barrel nut right there.
Yeah, I kind of like how that you can see it even after it's installed. It's got a cool look to it.
Yep, and it extends up to about there, so it's about 1.5 inches long or so. And again, it comes with a wrench. I believe it has a 1/2-inch drive on it, so all you'll need is a torque wrench to install it. Really, it's pretty simple, straightforward. It comes with instructions. Apply the appropriate torque, and you're good. Line up the gas tube, slip on the handguard, and you're set.
Oh, very cool. So for the Gun Guy Radio monthly giveaway, we're giving away the AR-15 Critical Tools Kit. So that will give you the tools to install this. Well, I guess you already have some of the tools with this. So, but it'll give you the vice. What do you call it? The vice.
The upper receiver vice block. Which you'll need the wrench that comes with the critical toolkit, probably to remove your GI barrel. Say if you got some existing polymer handguards, you need to take those off in your old barrel. Take that off with the critical toolkit wrench, and then you don't have to worry about the new one with the Midwest. You'll just need a torque wrench, and you're good.
Right, and we're going to let you have your choice of Midwest Industries SS Series handguards. So whether you want, anywhere from a 7-inch to a 15-inch, and even the color, if you just let us know which one, and get that out to you. So you can enter to win by going to gunguyradio.com/winner. And Also, if you're looking to buy one, possibly, you can go to the upper right-hand corner of this video where it says Buy at Brownells, or check the GunGuyRadio.com show notes. Well, Paul, thank you so much for sharing all these awesome new items that you can find at Brownells. I'm glad you shared the Midwest Industries handguard, because Reed hasn't even shown it to me yet. So
okay, yeah, they're pretty nice. They're my go-to option, obviously, for a handguard at the moment.
Yeah, they're a good price point as well for all you get with it. Very yeah, it's a win-win. So
yep, good looking handguards.
All right, well, thank you so much, Paul, and we'll talk to you next week.
No problem. Talk to you then.
And well, Merry Christmas, because this will come out
That's right
before Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I don't even have my Christmas lights up, but Merry Christmas.
Well, and that brings us to the Brownells giveaway. So you can enter the Brownells giveaway by subscribing to our email newsletter list by going to gunguyradio.com/winner. And that's that's all you got to do. You're entered for life. Sign up for our email newsletter list. Again, it's gunguyradio.com/winner. And we're giving away some pretty great prizes once a month towards the last episode of the month. Usually is when we give these away. And this week we're giving away the Midwest Industries AR-15 Generation 2 SS Series handguard and the Brownells AR-15 Critical Tools Kit to one lucky winner, and that lucky winner is Kevin Klein. So congrats, Kevin. You won your choice of handguard and the Criticals Toolkit. You get both. You get to choose your handguard, which length you want, which color, and you also get the Criticals Toolkit. So congrats, man. That's awesome. And a little hint, next month we're giving away 5 items to 5 different people. So even more chances to win. We're drawing all the winners on the show that releases January 26th, but I'll need all the entries in by January 22nd. Again, go to gunguyradio.com/winner to enter.
Gun Guy Radio is brought to you in part by Duluth Trading Company, where you can find free swinging flannel shirts, Shoreman's fleece jackets, wild boar footwear, and buck naked boxers. For clothes that are plain built better, go to gunguyradio.com/Duluth. And don't forget to tell them you listen to Gun Guy Radio. Gun Guy Radio says thank you and proudly displays artwork and graphics designed by Ryan Cross of Hunter of Design. HunterofDesign.com.
All right. Well, don't forget to shop Brownells using our affiliate link, gunguyradio.com/satisfaction. And that about wraps it up for this week. So you can send your feedback to jake@gunguyradio.com. And don't forget, you can still purchase Gun Guy Radio stickers. It's gunguyradio.com/stickers. And remember, leave us an iTunes review if you could at gunguyradio.com/iTunes. And don't forget to join the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation. And also check out the Firearms Radio Network's Android app. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv/iTunes is how you can subscribe to them all at once using the master feed. And also check out the God and Guns podcast. Troy's doing a fantastic job over there, and just brought on Doug as his new co-host, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. GodandGunsPodcast.com/iTunes. And that about wraps it up. So everyone have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next week.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.